Being director of the FBI is one of the most important jobs in government, and it's been held by some distinguished people and by some people who are not so distinguished. But the power in that job is just enormous, and I wanted to show why, in my view, Patel wasn't qualified, not in terms of his competence or his experience or his character. I just thought it was important for senators to have that in mind.
The senators are the key. I can state, folks, my book of the year a number of years ago, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, Garrett Graff, The Threat Matrix, the FBI at War. It is a spectacular 500 pages on the complexity of the FBI. John Bolton, do you believe that the president-elect doesn't understand the day-to-day grind of what the FBI does?
Yeah, I think Trump has very little understanding how most of the government operates. He never took the time to learn it. He didn't know much before he became president, and he didn't learn very much when he was president. The FBI has roughly, 40,000 employees, most of whom spend their time working on investigating real crimes or real threats to the United States from overseas. And the idea that you're going to unleash somebody whose main job, in Trump's view, is hunting down Trump's enemies, really demeans the incredibly important work of the overwhelming majority of people in the department. I'm not saying the FBI is free of problems. It certainly is not. But if you want to have somebody come in and fix it, correct the problems, reform it, straighten it up, pick somebody like William Webster, who, when Ronald Reagan appointed him, was a distinguished federal judge. And has since written he doesn't think either Kash Patel or Tulsi Gabbard are fit for the jobs they've held. Pick somebody who's got a background of integrity and judgment, who's going to resolve the problems you're worried about and not make them worse.
John, for some of the candidates or appointees that you have raised some flags on, do you believe the Senate will in fact challenge them going forward in the confirmation process?
Well, I think there's a real chance of it. The idea that the president nominates somebody and that choice is automatically accepted by the Senate isn't borne out by history. I think the president's entitled to real deference in his picks, particularly in terms of what the appointees think about policies. That's what the president was elected to do. But the function of the Senate, the Federalist Papers make this very clear, is to make sure that people who lack character and competence don't get through. Now, we're all waiting after the first of the year for the FBI full field background investigations to come in. That's going to be interesting to read for the senators on the key committees. And then there are going to be confirmation hearings where, if senators, Republican and Democratic, are doing their jobs, they'll ask the nominees some hard questions. This is still a long way from being over.
John, from a national security perspective, what do you think the to-do list should be for this incoming administration, maybe for the first 100 days, if not longer?
Well, I think it's a long list. I think the world is very threatening to American interest in a variety of places. Certainly the Middle East is on fire. The Russian invasion of Ukraine continues. The Chinese threat to Taiwan and the South China Sea remain. And I think there needs to be a real focus on going after those countries that have become adversaries of ours and putting in place both the policies we need to protect our interests, but also getting resources. Maybe the highest priority the president has is getting a better defense budget, a substantially larger defense budget. Not to say that there aren't savings that can be had at defense, there certainly can be. But we face threats that are rising around the world, and we've had, over a sustained period of time, inadequate resources to do the job. Our military is way overstretched, and we are vulnerable.